Oh, deflection, and it's a goal. And a tremendous start for Australia. Chance that goalkeepers just don't have a chance with. But Tony Midmar opens the scoring for Australia.
Soccer, the greatest sport the world has ever seen. The round ball game is played by millions of people every day, all over the world. From the back streets of Beirut to the beaches of Brazil, youngsters can be seen learning the skills of the beautiful game and emulating their heroes. This great game brings together peoples of all races and colours in sporting harmony and unites nations in a common cause to see their national soccer team play. Australian soccer is exploding. The Ericsson Cup is taking off and the Socceroos are taking on and beating the world's best teams. There is now over 100 Australian players playing professionally overseas, some valued at millions of dollars on the transfer market. It's a great time to be involved in Australian soccer. It's a great time to be a Socceroo.
Hi, I'm Craig Foster. Welcome to Oz Soccer, the Future Socceroo Training Program. This is the first in a series of videos where we'll show you everything you need to know to excel at the game of soccer. And hopefully one day, if you're lucky, you might get to the same level as these guys behind me, Socceroo and Olyroo stars. Now, everyone you'll see on this video has either represented Australia at some level or has been a Socceroo squad member, so you know that you're getting your tips from the best. We're going to show you everything you need to know from the basic ball skills and techniques through to attitude, motivation, and even how to prepare yourself for games and for training. But right now, let's introduce the stars of Oz Soccer.
Alex Tobin is one of the legends of the Australian game. A Socceroo since the early 80s, Alex has gone on to play over 80 internationals for Australia, competing in 2 World Cup qualifying campaigns and playing in the Seoul Olympics in 1988. Alex has already captained Australia once and is tipped to be the future Socceroo captain. Damian Mori is the most explosive player in the country. Extremely quick and powerful, Damian has been a consistent goal scorer in Australia's top league and is one of the biggest stars in the Australian game. Many consider Damian to be valued at close to $1 million on the international market. Julie Murray is one of Australian soccer's most experienced internationals. After years in the women's Socceroo team, Julie has now been awarded the highest honour as captain of the country. Julie played as a professional in the world's toughest women's league in Denmark and thankfully has now returned to lead Australia into the next World Cup. Lisa Casagrande is the most exciting young soccer player in Australian women's soccer. After starring in the Women's World Cup in Sweden in '94, Lisa is being pursued by some of the world's top clubs and could be leaving our shores soon to become an international star. We also have Olyroo Goran Lozanovski, probably the most skillful player in the Australian game. Brad Hassell, also an Olyroo, and a dynamic attacking player capable of both creative play and scoring goals. John Gibson, an A-League star with Adelaide City, and a member of the fantastic Olyroo team, which competed brilliantly in the Barcelona Olympics in '92. Richie Alagich, a former Olyroo, and we'll also hear from Jason Petkovic, a goalkeeper in the A-League, who's a Socceroo squad member and tipped to be the next Socceroo custodian. Socceroo ball skills and techniques is the first in the series of videos. We'll show you the basics from passing, ball control, dribbling, ball skills, as well as shooting and how to score goals. You'll hear from the stars on how to train and prepare yourself and get the latest inside player tips to bring you inside the world of Oz Soccer's biggest stars. But first, let's find out what it's like to play for the Socceroos.
For any player is to play for the national team. My aim at the moment would be to play in a World Cup game for the Socceroos. That would be something to achieve.
Oh, it was brilliant, yeah. Playing with all the players, best players in the world. Played against Michelle Akers, who plays for the US, who is the world's best.
It's absolutely fantastic, actually, yeah. It's the best feeling in the world to play for your country.
As a young guy growing up, you train hard, and that's what it's all about, making the Olympic team, making the Australian team, and working hard.
Passing, the most important skill for a young player to master. The ability to play the ball to a teammate with great accuracy, passing is the foundation of soccer, linking every player on a team together into an attacking unit.
Passing is a very important part of soccer. We need to be able to concentrate on passing the ball accurately. It's a team game, obviously. We need to be able to move the ball accurately from player to player and to bring other players into the game. In any typical game of soccer, you might pass the ball 100, 150 times, and we have to concentrate on being accurate, being able to move the ball as we feel fit. Okay, we're going to concentrate first of all on just using the side of our foot. Okay, we're going to be playing the easiest pass to play, and the most used in a game of soccer is using the side of your foot. When we do it, we have to concentrate on keeping our ankle locked, keeping our foot firm, and playing through the ball, around about the middle of the ball, so as to knock the ball along the ground rather than lifting it up in the air. So we get our weight over the ball, strike the ball in the middle of the ball, and keeping your weight over the top of the ball so as to keep it in a downward motion.
Remember to place your standing foot almost level with the ball and facing the same direction as your pass. Stay balanced by keeping your arms out and your head down as you strike through the ball.
Another pass that we can practice is using the outside of our foot. As we've shown here, we want to be striking the ball on the outside of the ball with your weight over the ball as we showed before, and we're trying to spin the ball, okay, curving it away as we strike through the ball, weight over the ball, similar to the other passing shots that we've shown.
This is a pass made famous by the world champion Brazilian players, and when mastered is extremely accurate and beautiful to watch.
Watch here as Socceroo star Mark Viduka plays an outside foot pass at the last moment, fooling his opponents.
Nice ball to Marusic in space here. Good ball across. Second goal for the Knights.
Here's a tip for more advanced players. When you're passing the ball in a game, you want to make sure your passes are crisp and clean. You don't want lazy passes, or it's too easy for the defender to intercept. So practice this, passing the ball with the outside of your foot on the run and slap it with the outside of your foot nice and hard. Watch this. Oh, one touch, slap. Good.
After learning to pass accurately with the sides of the foot, you can now learn to strike the ball with the instep, which is used both to pass the ball powerfully and to shoot at goal. By using the instep, a player can generate tremendous power by opening the hips, fully extending the shooting leg and striking the ball directly in the centre.
The instep pass can be used for low driving passes, lofted passes over long distances, or to have a crack at goal. Make sure you practice as much as you can. Remember, the more accurate you are with an instep drive, the more goals you'll score.
Lofted passes are needed to lift the ball over opponents to your teammates. As Alex shows here, it's important to lean back with your standing foot slightly behind the ball and strike the bottom of the ball, kicking up through it. The lofted pass can be played straight to your teammates like this, or into space in front of them, and is often used to play over the defence to an attacker running into space.
Remember that at the top level, there's very little time in which to play. Every player can read ahead what's going to happen, so it's important to pass the ball to your teammate very firmly. Watch here as the player passes the ball at the right weight. That means at exactly the right pace and speed, making it easy for his teammate to control it. Practice passing using the right speed and you'll make it a lot easier for your teammates, and you'll find it a lot easier to play at the top level.
A pass which can also be used either to find a teammate or even to score goals is the chip pass. By stabbing sharply under the ball, a player can loft the ball over nearby defenders or even over the keeper into the net. Watch Goran Lozanovski here as he places his standing foot slightly behind the ball, leans back and strikes under the ball very sharply with no follow-through. As you can see, it's played with a stabbing motion, which makes the ball rise very sharply. A very useful skill to have in a tight situation.
Here's a few points to remember when practicing your passing skills. Try to find a wall or fence to pass against. Mark out a spot and test your accuracy from different distances. You should be able to hit the spot 60 to 70% of the time. And remember, always practice with both feet. If you can play with both feet, it gives you more options and you'll be confident in any situation. For advanced players, practice your passing against a wall or with a partner. Then try hitting a moving target, passing the ball to your teammate who's on the run. Remember, as you play at higher levels, you need to think and react in an instant. So practice passing the ball as quickly as possible like these Socceroos here. Here's an excellent practice drill to develop your passing skills. Start with 3 players passing while a defender tries to steal the ball. Now progress onto one-touch passing to test both your vision and passing skills.
The Australian A-League is where the Socceroos stars develop their skills, and the league is packed with fantastic players who never quite make it to the international level. What's the difference between the good players and the great ones? Joe Mullen has played in the National Soccer League for 12 years, over 370 games, and represented Australia as well. He should know.
The difference between international players and National League players is their willingness to succeed and their strive for success. International players have sacrificed so many things. They might, instead of going out with their friends at night and socialising, they certainly would dedicate a lot more time to their soccer, to their training, and they get their just rewards by playing in the national team.
Let's ask Damian.
If your attitude is correct, the rest will come. Your control, your leading of the ball, everything will come if your attitude's there. And what happens with a lot of players have got good ball skills, good control, but their attitude's not there, and that's what makes them the difference between a good player and a great player.
On free kicks, make sure you lean forward, it would put topspin on the ball and dip over the wall.
Ball control is absolutely crucial to a top-level soccer player. The ability to receive the ball at any height, angle or speed and instantly control it to make your next move is a skill that can make the difference between making it as a champion player or missing out. Many players in today's game can survive without a great deal of skill and technique, but without excellent ball control, you're not in the race. There's many ways to control the ball in soccer: the feet, chest, head, thigh, in fact anywhere except the arms or hands.
First of all, we'll be practicing just with the side of the foot. Ball's going to be coming in, and what you're after is to be able to control the ball by taking the weight off the ball. You do that by taking a foot away. That takes the impact of the ball away, and hopefully the ball will control straight down onto your feet so that you're able to make a pass.
You can trap the ball on the ground, in the air, or on the half volley for a bouncing ball.
Here's a good tip for wide players. When the ball is bouncing, you control it on the chest, take 2 mid touches, it just takes too long to cross the ball. So control the ball in the half volley, that way you're on the move and you can cross the ball much quicker.
Another easy way to control the ball is with the sole of the foot. Watch here as Alex lets the ball hit the sole of his boot and traps it in front of him. You can also control the ball using the outside of the foot. Now practice turning with the ball as you control it by turning your hip and cushioning the ball.
Once you have mastered this control, make it harder for yourself by having a defender behind you and practice turning using the outside of the foot. Here it's important to make the defender think you're going left by throwing your body that way and then take the ball to the right. Watch here how the defender thinks Alex is going right and he takes the ball left in a smooth motion. One important fact about playing at the top level that we stress many times throughout this program is that as the standard of play increases, the time which your opponent gives you decreases. This means you must practice controlling the ball with the least amount of touches as possible. If you can always control the ball with one touch, your game will improve out of sight. So remember, one touch only.
One of the most important points when playing at any level is your first touch. People fall into the trap of actually stepping off, waiting for the ball, and then taking too many touches to bring it under control. The way in which you're supposed to do it is actually come and meet the ball, kill the ball in your first touch, and then it's ready to take on the defender at any time.
When controlling a ball at waist height, practice using your thigh. As Alex shows here, raise your thigh to meet the ball and drop it as the ball hits to cushion the ball. Again, it's important to master turning with the ball. Be sure to accelerate away as you turn to move away from the opponents. Now try this. When controlling a ball with the chest, keep your arms out and lean back, bending your legs for balance.
I mean, the key there is some of the Donna back for Redondo.
You can also lean forward to chest the ball down, ready for your next move. Now turn with the ball.
When controlling the ball on the chest, try only to take one touch. This can be done by actually coming to meet the ball and forcing it to the ground, allowing you enough time to actually take the defender on.
When controlling the ball with the head, make sure you keep your arms out and bend the knees to cushion the ball. And when turning, make sure you keep your eyes on the ball at all times. Speaking of heading the ball, one of the most spectacular ways of scoring goals is with a diving header.
On diving headers, keep your eyes on the ball. That'll give it direction into the net, and when you're finished, make sure you keep your hands down to give you protection when you land.
An excellent exercise to test your ball control is being demonstrated here by Goran Lozanovski and John Gibson. They stand apart about 5 to 8 metres and play the ball as hard as they can to each other, on the ground or in the air. The idea is to control the ball with only one touch, keeping it within a metre from you. If the ball ends up more than a metre away, it's a point to your partner. Play up to 15, and before you know it, your control will be as good as these guys. This level of skill comes through one thing only: practice. Remember, you can use just about any part of your body. Yes, even this one.
Okay, when shooting the ball, there's two main factors to remember. One is to keep the arm up, to keep the opponent off you, and to keep your body between the ball and the opponent. The other is to always dribble with the ball on the outside of the foot. That's the reason he's got this whole distance to get from there to the ball, and it makes it a lot harder for him.
You know how to handle pressure. How do you handle a pressure game, and do you still get nervous before a game?
A little bit nervous. I suppose as I get older, it's a little bit less so because I've played in, as you said, a few pressure situations. Really, I just try to stay focused as much as I can on the job at hand, rather than concentrating on how important the game must be or what sort of crowd might be facing us. I try to focus on just the job that I have to do, the player that in my defensive position that I have to mark. For a striker, it might be concentrating on trying to score goals, etc., etc. It's different for different players, but that's what I try to concentrate on, just focusing on how I want to play the game, how my coach has told me that he wants me to play, and then leave it at that and try not to let other things intrude.
Dribbling the ball, one of the great joys of playing the game. A good player can keep the ball by dribbling under pressure, as well as to take on defenders and still control the ball while sprinting at top speed.
We're going to be practicing a few dribbling skills now. This is obviously something very important that you need to practice to be able to control the ball closely, to be able to move with the ball at speed, and to not have the ball lost or tackled by an opponent. What we want to concentrate on are three main elements. First of all is to have a low balance. You want to be able to change direction anytime that you like by being low on your knees, being able to move quickly in different directions. Secondly, we have to have close control of the ball. Obviously, if the ball is kicked a long way away, an opponent is more likely to be able to steal it. So we have to concentrate on keeping the ball just at about a foot away from your feet and to be able to move quickly and change direction. And thirdly, and very importantly, is we need to have our head up at all times. In a game of soccer, you can't be dribbling with having your head looking towards the ball, because you won't be seeing what's happening around you, your other players that you perhaps can pass to or maybe even cross to score in a goal-scoring situation.
Practice dribbling with just the inside of the foot and just the outside of the foot. Try with both feet. Now dribble through some obstacles to test your close control. Now you're ready to try dribbling at top speed.
Here's a tip for dribbling at speed. Use the outside of your foot, keep the ball close to you so you can change direction quickly.
Here's an excellent game to test your close dribbling skills. Watch as the players dribble around a small area, then stop with their foot on the ball when Alex yells stop. If the ball gets too far away, the control breaks down and the player is out of the game. Play on to find a winner. To make it harder, increase the speed of dribbling until you're moving at top speed with the ball. If you have someone to practice with, try keeping the ball off your partner while they try to take it away. This is the best exercise to get the feel of a real game situation. Remember, to become a champion player, you must use the same effort in training as in a game. This is extremely important. Great players test themselves and push their limits every day. But what would be a typical day of training for you then?
Training, obviously, with Adelaide City, we start probably late in the afternoon, get there, just do a simple warm-up, obviously go into ball work, and then probably just go through some moves. But at the same time, for myself, and I think for a lot of the other players at this type of level, you've got to give 100%, and that's what's important, because what happens at training is what happens in a game. And that's the key thing. Train hard, and it'll pay off in the games. Because you're going to make mistakes in the game, but at training you can rectify them. But at the same time in a game you don't have time. So you can work on different things, and if you're working at 100%, that means you can only become a better player when the game time comes.
Soccer is the beautiful game. The world's best players play with a grace and artistry that is wonderful to watch as they weave, feint and glide through opposing defences. One thing all the great players have in common is great ball skills.
Okay, the next segment we're going to be concentrating on is ball skills. I can't emphasise enough the importance of ball skills for any up-and-coming player. This is something that you need to be able to concentrate on, to practice as much as you can, whether it be at training with your team or practicing at home. The emphasis must be on total ball control. The success of teams such as the Socceroos in the past has relied on players having that great ball control to be able to match it with these great international teams that we've played against. So this is something that you should always concentrate on. Perhaps watch the video, see the sort of things, the different sort of techniques that you've been shown, see whether you can practice them at home or at training, and then you'll be able to match them in a game situation.
Goran Lozanovski is one of the most skillful stars of Oz soccer. Here are some of his skills to get you started. Once the ball is in the air, keeping it up is called juggling and is an excellent way to learn control over the ball. Try to make the ball spin back towards you. This way it won't roll away if it hits the ground. Be sure to juggle with your feet, your head and thigh. A combination of all of these, and even like this. And with enough practice, now to ball skills.
Start by getting a feel for the ball. Use the sole of the foot Now use the sole going forward. And backwards. And pull the ball straight back. Now try rolling the ball with the sole like this. Try rolling the ball sideways. Now roll and stop. Now change with the sole across the body.
Now move on to slightly harder techniques.
Here you can change direction with the inside of the foot, playing the ball under your legs. Watch how Alex gets his head up to see his opponents, then changes direction. Now change with the inside of the foot. And with defenders. And the outside of the foot. This is called a pullback. Now try a pullback with a step over dummy and take the ball away with the outside of the foot. Now with the defender. Watch here as Goran stops the ball with the sole, does a step over and accelerates away. And John Gibson. This is the step over dummy. Now drag the ball before stepping over it. And again. Now step over and drag the same way. And again. This time fake a pass and flick the ball inside. Watch Redondo here. Now try 2 step overs. And a step over to change direction. Now fake a pass with the left foot and take the ball with the right. Here's a tricky spin move. Here's the move made famous by Peter Beardsley. Turn the hips to throw the defender. Try this. 1-2 step over. 1-2 step over. Here's a favourite of all skillful players, the back heel. And again. One of the most exciting skills in soccer is your attacking skills and being able to take on a defender. That's something common to all the great players in the world. Baggio, Gullit, all these players, Gascoigne, can take on their defender at any time. Here's one tip to remember. What a defender will do is they'll try and turn her hips as I dribble towards her, so she's trying to push me this way. Now the key as an attacker is to always try and go across her hips. Okay, so if I'm dribbling this way, she turns to make me go this direction. I throw a little dummy and I go across her hips, and then she has to turn blind, and I've beaten her already. The other point is, If she lets me, however, get level with her and she's still turned and I get to this angle, now I've beaten her, because remember at this stage I'm on the move, whereas she is just jockeying backwards. Then I can push the ball because I'm on the move. I'll get there first, get your body in position and you'll get around her.
Here's Socceroo squad member Jason Petkovic with some tips on goalkeeping.
For balls shorter height and above, it's important to catch it out in front of you and also to have your thumbs together when catching the ball. And from there, you bring it into your chest. There's basically two techniques for collecting the ball that are coming straight on. Firstly, there's the scoop technique, where you keep on the feet at all times. And secondly, you get down on your knee to collect the ball. It's important to remember that in both situations that you keep your body behind the ball and eye on the ball at all times. Remember, communication is a big part of being a good goalkeeper. You must inform your defenders of what's going on around and encourage them at the same time.
To play at the highest level, you need to be able to perform consistently well every game, regardless of the situation or opposition. An important part of consistent performance is your pre-match preparation. Always keep it the same. All top players have a routine before a match which they stick to, and this gives them a chance to prepare both physically and mentally for the coming game.
How do you prepare for a game?
Well, obviously you wake up in the morning, like to go for probably half an hour stroll just to relax the body, and then probably after lunch I'd like to think about the game, obviously not too much, because otherwise if you play the game too early it's finished before you get there. So you like to stay mentally intact, but at the same time don't exhaust all your attitude.
So what you're saying is you try and focus on the game, but not too much or you get mentally tired.
That's
is that what
right.
you're saying?
Obviously, people don't understand that when you do a lot of thinking, it does take a lot out of you. So obviously think about the game, but then at the same time, don't think too much that the game's already been played in your head before you've actually gone out there and played.
Eating-wise, I usually eat perhaps 3 hours before a game, or thereabouts. I tend not to want to eat up too much. I don't want to be too full during a game. It's different for different players. You might find a boy or girl might find that they particularly like eating a certain food before a game. It's different for different people, but I tend not to eat too much and try to relax as much as I can, put my feet up before a game, try to just lie down, maybe read, maybe watch TV, just as long as it's relaxing. You don't want to be thinking about the game too early in the piece, and then maybe a couple of hours before the game is to kick off, then I'll start thinking about the job that I'm being asked to do, who I might be able to mark, and various things like that that's going to be associated with the game, and then try to concentrate on that and try to put other things out of my mind, such as distractions, crowds, as we were mentioning before.
Remember, consistency of preparation equals consistency of performance. Find out what works for you and stick to it. Here's the Oz Soccer routine of champions to show you how most top players gear up for a match. After a hard week's training, the day before the match will be a light session to rest the body and conserve energy. Have a meal the night before with plenty of carbohydrates and ensure you get plenty of rest. Always pack your competition equipment the night before to save those last-minute delays. Eat an adequate breakfast on the morning of the match and take a 10 to 15 minute walk and stretch to loosen up. Your pre-match meal must be light and stick to carbos again. Pasta, sandwiches, bananas or fruit. It's far better to play on a slightly empty stomach than a full one. And make sure you eat at least 3 hours before game time to digest your food properly. 1.5 hours before kickoff, listen to some music to activate your mind. Make sure it's the same music every time and your body will automatically respond into action. Now you've done the hard work, you're fully prepared, go have fun and always do your best.
One of the most spectacular soccer techniques is the overhead kick.
Richie makes it look easy, but if you're new to this skill, try practicing on an old mattress first until you get the hang of it.
Scoring goals, the most spectacular part of the game. The result of all the hard work, sweat and effort when the ball hits the back of the net It's a glorious feeling, a moment of ecstasy that becomes addictive to those with the gift of scoring. It is a gift, but one that can be learnt. First, you need the right attitude.
If you were talking to young kids, what would you say is the key to scoring goals?
The key would probably just stay composed in the box, pick your spot and try not to hesitate at all in the box. It doesn't really matter who scores the goals, it's important that the goals do go in.
From long range, use the instep to gain power.
When shooting a goal, remember two things. First, don't try to hit the ball too hard, and the second, hit the target and make the goalkeeper make a save.
For all you midfield players, remember when you're taking a shot from outside the box, have a short follow through. Don't try and kick it too hard because 90% of the shots outside the box go over the bar, so keep yours down.
When closer to goal, it's important to concentrate more on placement and accuracy than sheer power. So try using the inside or outside of the feet to curl the ball into the corner of the net.
Sometimes you will need to take on and beat the keeper.
When taking on a goalkeeper, the key point is to make the goalkeeper commit himself. This will allow you enough time to go round him.
Watch here how Damian feints to make the keeper dive one way and scores easily. And remember, even in training, always put the ball in the back of the net. Score goals in training and you'll do it in games.
Most goals are scored from crosses, so a top striker has to be able to score from a ball travelling across the goal area. You can score with the head, with a volley, or with any part of the body possible. Just get the ball over the line. Of course, it's fantastic to score a goal, but don't be too greedy.
I think you have to be hungry always in the box, that's important, but at the same time, don't forget the rest of your teammates. If the opportunity is there to score, but there's a better opportunity for one of your other players, it's always better to give it where the chance is 100% rather than maybe a 50% chance of scoring.
Here's the top 5 Oz Soccer tips for scoring goals. Always stay alert in the box and on your toes. Any rebound or deflection can turn into a goal for a top striker. Follow in every shot for the rebounds. You'll pick up 5 easy goals a season this way. When running for a cross, commit yourself to get in front of the defender. If the cross finds you, you'll score. Don't wait for the cross. Get your shots on target and down low. You'll be way ahead. And stay calm and cool in the box. Remember, it's the defenders who will panic. Keep moving with the ball in the box. If they foul you, it's a penalty.
Scoring, it's an art form, and when performed properly, it makes all the training worthwhile.
It's a Kennis, surrounded by play. Cardozo is a good shot, and that's a great goal from Pablo Cardozo.
Before we go, here's the inside story on what it takes to make it to the top.
Life and sport are always full of disappointments, of setbacks, of things that don't go quite as well as you might have intended them to do. But it's really up to your own personal character to be able to get above that, to put your chin up and to think, well, what can I achieve next? You know, you must forget about yesterday, that's already gone. What can you achieve tomorrow and in the future?
You have to be 100%. You have to give 100% of your time. Obviously, soccer, you're only around for maybe 10 years. So in that 10 years, you want to achieve as much as possible. So providing you give 100%, you really can't do anything wrong.
You'll play in teams where you perhaps, won't make the grade at a certain age, but there's plenty of years ahead of you to practice, to get better, to improve, to focus on some of the things that we've seen in this video, and who knows, you could go on to represent the Socceroos.
Players that think they can get away with drinking, smoking, doing drugs, it's almost impossible. To play for Australia, you'll find, or in any sport really, your Greg Normans, they can't drink, they can't smoke, because anything you do like that's only going to hamper the body, and when you hamper the body, it's playing havoc with your game.
Well, that's all from us here at Oz Soccer. We hope you enjoyed the program, but more importantly, we hope you learned something that you can take away, practice, and become a better player. Just remember one thing before we go. Australian soccer's got a huge future. All our national teams are doing well, our Joeys, the Olyroos, the youth team and the Socceroos, as well as the women's Socceroos. So get out, practice your ball skills and your control, learn from what these guys have told you on the video, and maybe one day you too can play for an Australian national team. Bye for now, we'll see you on the next video.
Hope you enjoyed our soccer video. Watch out for the second in the series coming very soon. In that, we'll be showing you the fitness techniques for the Socceroo team, also some advanced skills, some advanced tactics in terms of defence and midfield and strikers. And at the end, we'll be showing you an insight into the preparation that the Socceroos have to go through to prepare for a big international game. Hope to see you then.